What is up, hooligans? Happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we make the news suck a little less. Please take a second to hit that like button. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. We're going to read through the schedule really quick. Then we're going to check on all the chats before KJP comes staggering out on stage. As mentioned, we'll be starting off with the White House Press Briefing with KJP. There's no other context other than that. Who knows if she'll bring hot dog fingers with her or not. Not quite sure. And then we have a video titled Trump's Target Letter from DOJ May Indicate a Coming Indictment. They're just nonstop going after the Orange Eagle. Nothing new. Just another day. Then we have a video titled U.S. National Who Crossed into North Korea Likely in Custody. I don't know why anybody would want to go to North Korea. I don't know why anybody would want to test it. If you get captured, they could do anything to you. Nobody's coming to save you. You think old man Walter is coming to save you? He's not. He's not. Then we'll be wrapping things up with a video titled Gavin Newsom Accused of Hypocrisy on Migrant Dumping. Doing the same thing everybody else is. Border crossers coming to town and he ships them somewhere else because he doesn't want them here, even though he claims like he does. You know, more blue state activity. Whatnot. What's up, everyone on YouTube? Happy freedom. What's up, Mr. Satan? What's up, Darkly? What's up, Matthew? What's up, Toy Mafia? What's up, MT Coiner? What's up, Kevin? What's up, Nanner Nose? What's up, Robert? Happy freedom, you hooligans. What's up, Adrian? What's up, Damon Walker? What's up, Kevin Clow? What's up, Ghost? What's up, Get Some J? Appreciate all of you guys being here. What's up, Elisa? What's up, Justin? What's up, Bagpiper? What's up, Anthony? Oh, I can't remember. I'm going to have to Google your name. It's FJB. I know it's something like that, but I appreciate you guys being here. Let's see. Kevin, is it cool there today? It doesn't feel like it, but I don't have any windows open, so maybe that's what's going on here. Let me take a gander real quick. It's 75, so it's 5 degrees above death for me. The air quality is at 25, so I'm not breathing in none of that Canadian smoke, I guess. I don't know. I still don't believe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe it's from Canada. I believe it's something else. What's up, everyone on the secret YouTube channel? What's up, Nefties? What's up, Toy Mafia? Happy freedom. Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, everyone on Twitch? What's up, everyone over on Kick? Happy freedom, you hooligans. And Odyssey. What's up, Nefties? What's up, everyone on Odyssey? Happy freedom. What about Rumble? Oh yeah, we're live on Rumble. What's up, everyone over on Rumble? What's up, Astral Hammer? What's up, Schulers? What's up, Pumpkin? What's up, John Boy? Happy freedom. Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, everyone over on jeffmaclive.com? What's up, Donna Sparks? What's up, Ghostly Method? I appreciate you guys watching over on the website. Happy freedom. So we're waiting for KJP to be on stage. She's 9 minutes late already. Nah, I don't know. We might be able to play this one video. We might be able to do the North Korea one. It's only a minute and something. Probably pull it off. We're gonna try. I don't want to wait around for KJP. You never know. She could be 2 minutes late. She could be 25 minutes late. She could be 2 hours late. You never know. Alright, we're going to start off with this very first video titled U.S. National Who Crossed into North Korea Likely in Custody. That sounds like bad news. Thank you so much, Lisa, for the $20 donation. I really appreciate it, Lisa. Thank you so much for the support. Alright, let's get this started.
A US national is now likely in North Korean custody after crossing the inter-Korean border without authorization. That's according to the United Nations command that oversees the demilitarized zone area on Tuesday. The person was part of a tour to the joint security area on the border separating the two Koreas. That line has been in place since the end of the 1950 to 1953 Korean War. Soldiers from both sides stand guard. South Korea's Donga Ilbo daily newspaper, citing South Korea's army, identified the person as Travis King, a US Army soldier with the rank of Private Second Class. Reuters could not immediately verify the report. The UNC confirmed the border crossing on Twitter, adding that they were working with North Korea's People's Army to, quote, resolve this incident. The White House, the US State Department, and the Pentagon did not immediately respond to requests for comment. South Korea's defense ministry said it did not immediately have any information on the border incident. The crossing comes at a time where tensions are high on the Korean peninsula. On the same day, a US nuclear-armed ballistic missile submarine arrived in South Korea, a rare visit which serves as a warning to North Korea. The North has been testing increasingly powerful missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads. It launched a new intercontinental ballistic missile just last week.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be stuck in North Korea. That seems hopeless. Old man Walter's not coming to save you. Those poor people in North Korea, they're being ruled by a tyrant. They're all being taught to hate America and stuff. They probably make you an example. You'd be lucky they don't put you in the street and crucify you. I don't know. I would not want to be in that situation. And I think they're kind of acting like he just wandered over the line, like he was just pushing the limits. I don't know. We'll have to wait for more context because I'm sure that's not what happened. CGI, you guys talking about the rocket? I thought the rocket looked a little weird too. They had that camera where like the rocket's like coming at it from like a top-down view, and it's like, what you got? You got one of those Chinese spy balloons in the air recording? Like, I don't know. Happy Freedom, Pamela. Thank you for being here. What's up, Snooks? Happy Freedom. What's up, Sam? Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, Miss Jamie? Just reading through the chat really quick. KJP is still not on stage. We might move forward with the next video. She might have to wait on us. What's up, Annette? Happy Freedom. Appreciate you being here. What's up, Hitman? What's up, Melissa? Nanner knows it's 102 there. You'd be seeing me with ice blocks taped to my noggin. I can't handle the heat. It wrecks me. What's up, Gidgy? Happy Freedom. What's up, Sly Dog? I have a hard time dealing with the heat. Robert Doocy's on paternity leave. He'll be back soon. How late in the game can you ask for paternity leave? His kid's got to be a couple months old now, right? Well, as long as he's not, you know, in old man Walter's basement, I guess. Let's see. What's up, Deep South Jody? Happy Freedom. You think it's a deserter? You think it's a military guy who left his post? Why would you go to North Korea though? Why wouldn't you just, I don't know, go down the street, you know, go hang out in South Korea somewhere? Is it because they'd be able to go retrieve him? I don't know. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. I guess we'll see. If they ever bring it back up, they might just sweep it under the rug. They might just let him keep him. What's up, JB? Happy Freedom. What's up, Love and Nature? Appreciate you being here. What's up, Yukon? So I found out after we were all said and done yesterday that we were playing the game on the main channel, and I had no idea. I had no idea that was happening until I got done. We were live on 4 different YouTube channels, and we were live everywhere except for Odyssey and Rumble. And it's because you got to put the key in on every single live or else it won't go live. That was not intentional. So if you guys were here watching me play the game and you felt like I was ignoring you, I was not ignoring you. I had no idea that you guys were watching. Snooks was telling me that there was quite a few of you, quite a bit, hooligans there in the chat. Because I didn't set up the live, the chat's not saved. So I have no idea what was going on. You guys could have been saying terrible things in the chat. I have no idea. But tis what it is. That was not intentional, but if you do want to watch us play the game, you can grab the Linktree link in the description and go subscribe over to JeffMAC Gaming. We'll be playing the game again tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, just for funsies. So for real, you were on the main channel yesterday? Yeah, see, I didn't mean to ignore everybody. I didn't know that was happening. I had no idea that was going on. I was getting notifications on Twitter, people reacting to me being live, and then I seen the title and I was like, why is that on Twitter? And then I went to Twitter and I saw we were gaming on Twitter, and I was like, what the heck? And so then I looked and we were gaming in 11 locations, and that was not intentional, and it hurt me. I paid the cost for it. We lost 50 people just on the main channel. It hurt me big time because conservatives can't stand seeing people play the game. So people who are like hardcore conservative, they're like, fuck you, JeffMAC, you want to play video games? I'm leaving. I'm out. And so that's what happened. That's what happened. I was all pissy last night. When I found out, I was so pissy. I was like, man, I just burned down my own house. I didn't even realize it. Good job, patting myself on the back. Elisa, how's your car doing? It's doing okay. It's all right. It still kind of stutters and hesitates every now and then, but I mean, it's running. And if it decides to kick the bucket, I'll just call the shop and we'll see what they do. Because they told me that it was good to go. They changed all the spark plugs and they were like, the spark plugs are bad. We used the warranty to replace them. We're not going to charge you anything. Let us know if anything bad happens. And so that's kind of what I'm working with. That's how it goes. I'm going to check the White House schedule and see if they change things around because she's late. It's still saying 1:30. I think they're waiting for Hyena Harris. Hyena Harris is supposed to be live. Let's see if she's still live. She hasn't even started. Oh, no, she did. She did. I think it just got over. Oh, no, they were live 48 minutes ago. So Hyena Harris was on time. I don't know why KJP's not on stage. Because sometimes they'll double schedule at the White House. I can't believe these people run the country. Like, cannot believe it at all. Because they can't run a schedule to save their life. They kind of double booked them. They got at 1:10 Eastern Time, Hyena Harris 1:30 press briefing. You know Hyena Harris ain't wrapping it up in 20 minutes. That was a 50-minute live. So I don't know why they did that. But I'm wondering if KJP had to go and sand down Hyena Harris's knees and stuff, get those knee pads off really quick, and then wipe old man Walter, and then, you know, take another shot, and then come waddling out on stage. I think that's what we're waiting for. She may still be on time, but she can wait for us. We're going to move on to another video. We're going to do the one we were initially going to start with, titled, Trump's target letter from DOJ may indicate a coming indictment. They're always gunning for the Orange Eagle. They're mad. They can't beat him legitimately, so you know. You remember 2020. You know. All right, hooligans, we're going to get this started.
Received a letter from the DOJ saying he is the target in the department's investigation into January 6th. Jonathan Turley is constitutional law attorney and a Fox News contributor and joins us now. We're all trying to figure out what to make of this. Jonathan, tell us so far what you do.
Right. Thanks, Sandra. This is a step that usually will come towards the end of an investigation. When you receive these types of letters, it often gives your client the opportunity to appear in a grand jury. They are never a welcomed thing to receive. Usually a target letter is before you receive an indictment. That's not necessarily the case, but it's viewed that way by most criminal defense attorneys. These letters often tell the target that they need to preserve evidence, that they need to look at counsel, and that they have a set period of time where they can appear before the grand jury. The concern here is that the special counsel could be proceeding on a case that might be constitutionally challenged. If the case is built around Trump's speech on the ellipsis on January 6th, I don't believe that it could withstand judicial review. The question is, does Smith have something else, something that's a direct link to a conspiracy or effort to cause violence? We haven't seen that. I mean, the January 6th committee in Congress came up with nothing as a direct nexus to that type of evidence.
We are getting word right now that we can confirm Jack Smith's office has said, indeed, that they sent the former president a target letter. That letter, though, that the former president, put out on his Truth Social page, a statement from Donald Trump calling Jack Smith deranged, saying the prosecutor with Joe Biden's DOJ sent a letter again Sunday night, he says, stating that I'm a target of the Jan 6 grand jury investigation, giving me a very short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost always means an arrest and indictment. Does the former president have a point about the timing of all of this in that letter?
Well, prosecutors don't always give a target ample time. I mean, they're not very accommodating in that sense. Part of the reason is that most targets will not go in front of a grand jury, and neither will Trump. I mean, it would be really loony to go in front of a grand jury like this. You're not allowed counsel. You're allowed to leave the grand jury to speak with your counsel. But I've had clients go into grand juries, and even when you tell them, for God's sake, get up and talk to me if there's a question, they rarely do so because they're there in front of 23 people and they want to convince them of something. But most defendants do not go into a grand jury.
Jonathan, just also the reaction that is pouring in. Asa Hutchinson, for example, just put out a statement saying that the former president should suspend his presidential campaign in light of receiving a target letter. Is there any reason why he should?
There's no legal reason why he should, and there might not be a political reason. Each of these indictments seems to give him a boost in the polls. I mean, this is fulfilling his narrative that there's a weaponization of the criminal justice system. That's why this indictment, if there is one coming, could be so important. With Mar-a-Lago, those were classic types of charges, a classic built case. This one, they have to really stick the landing so that no one will question it, or few people would question it. That's going to require some very direct and strong evidence. We haven't seen that. So if Smith doesn't have that type of evidence and he's moving forward largely on the speech, then I think he will fulfill the narrative of Donald Trump. He will be the federal version of Alvin Bragg in bringing that indictment.
That's a very interesting statement. So we're left wondering, based on everything you've just said, does this go anywhere? Does this indicate Jack Smith does indeed have something else? At some point, we will have to learn that very fact. When will that be, Jonathan?
Well, you'll learn that with the indictment, but there's been lots of leaks coming out. And, you know, we may be hearing whether there's something else there. Smith has a reputation of stretching the criminal code, sometimes too far. This is not an occasion for that. If you're going to indict the former president over January 6th, you're going to need a lot of evidence showing that he was doing more than engaging in a political speech. In my view, what Donald Trump said in the ellipsis is entirely protected under a case called Brandenburg and the First Amendment. Smith is going to need a lot more than that speech.
All right, Jonathan Turley, I appreciate you joining us on that breaking news.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Just another witch hunt, as the Orange Eagle would say. They can't get him legitimately. They gotta keep trying to tie him up in legal battles. I can't believe the dumb people who are believing it. You know, how many interviews have you seen in the street, like street interviews, where they say, oh, you know, Trump or Biden? They're always like, oh, not Trump. And like, why? Number one reply, he's a racist. Why? And then they say, well, haven't you watched the news? That's what they always say. So all the soft and stupid people out there always think that the Orange Eagle's a racist because the news told them that he's a racist. Well, now they're telling him that he's a criminal. They're telling him, you know, he's been impeached twice, he had an insurrection, the people arrested are insurrectionists, and so on and so forth. They're just painting him out to be a criminal of sorts. They're going to be real mad when he wins. They're going to be real mad. I'm like, oh, my president's a criminal. We talking about old man Walter's a criminal. You already got a criminal president. Okay? Don't start crying now. Don't start crying now. I don't think they're going to get him. I don't think they're going to get him. See, they'd probably already be done with this if they had a regular politician. Because regular politicians, they're just wheeling and dealing for political gain. And after enough attacks and you realize the system doesn't want you, then they'll just step down. They'll just, oh, what are they doing outside? Cutting down the house? God, good Lord. That's what they would do, though. If it was a regular politician, they would just be like, hey, look, buddy, we're not gonna keep you around. You're gonna have to go. Why don't you step down? This, that, and the other. And then next thing you know, they're what is it called? People go from being politicians to being this other thing. I can't think of what it's called. That's what Mark Zuckerberg is leveraging right now. I wish I could remember what the heck it's called. There's a title for it, but it's basically people who wheel and deal with politicians. A lot of times they'll do like business deals, like here's a whole bunch of money. Why don't you pass a bill that... Oh, this is so distracting. I'm going to have to shut that slider and then sweat to death. Oh, I wish I could think of what it's called, but that's what they're going to do. Try and grease pockets and stuff like that. Grease some palms. Get some bills passed through that, puts them in favor. That's what people keep saying about Mark Zuckerberg. He's putting all this money into politicians to try and get them to do the TikTok ban. Because if they ban TikTok, then there's no competition for Facebook. Because Facebook and YouTube and all that, they're on the same censor wheel. TikTok's not censoring people. Lobbyists, thank you. Yes, lobbyist. So there's lots of claims that Mark Zuckerberg is using lobbyists to try and get this TikTok ban passed. That way they have Instagram Reels, they have Facebook Reels, and then there's YouTube Shorts, and those are all short form content, but they're all censored by the same people. They all play the same games and have the same community guidelines and stuff. TikTok's not like that. And they don't want people to go to TikTok, but TikTok's #1 for the short form content. They don't like that. So because they can't beat them, they're going to use lobbyists to take them out of the game. I want to say that's what happened with Coke and Pepsi. And I can't remember which one came first. I want to say it was Pepsi. I might be wrong in that. But one was already in restaurants and the other one couldn't compete. So they developed the Yum brand. So the Yum brand would only carry their products. And that was the only way they could compete with the other cola, because they couldn't do it directly. And that's what Zuckerberg is doing with TikTok. He can't beat them directly when it comes to shorts, and people want shorts because their attention span is about 7 seconds right now because of all the pollution and the digital devices that we're absorbing. So they can't beat him directly. You got to take him out of the game. And that's what they're doing with the Orange Eagle. They can't beat him directly because he has all the support. For the last 2 or 3 years, we've watched him rally pretty much for fun. He's not even campaigning. He didn't even announce he was running until it was time. So he's just doing rallies for fun and pulling out 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people for a turnout just because the guy showed up and made an event. Old man Walter, he can't pull nothing. He can't fill a pig pen with people. Whether they crawl on all fours or piss in a litter box, Old man Walter, he ain't drawing a crowd. This is the biggest crowd that Old man Walter draws right now, is this. Well, let's go ahead and get everything set up. You know what time it is. It's KJP time.
Prostitute.
Make sure you hooligans rack up those likes before this drunken stupor comes staggering out on stage. Bless us with her presence. Aw, man, see, I guessed orange yesterday. That's why she waited till today.
Wanted to start today once again by calling out an unprecedented harm that Senator Tuberville's actions have to our military readiness and military families, to every branch of our armed forces, disrespecting those who serve and the families who serve with them. As Secretary Austin just said moments ago, and I quote, "I would imagine our adversaries would look at something like this and be pretty happy that we create this kind of turbulence within our force." As CNN reported this morning, the senator's own constituents in Alabama are speaking out against this attack on our military. This is what Greg Black said, an Air Force veteran who supported Senator Tuberville in 2020.
She wants to dress like a basketball until someone slams her off the ground.
How to promote, I think we're stepping into the wrong territory, end quote. I'll also quote Gary Counts, another veteran who described himself as a conservative, to CNN. And I quote, "I just don't think that you would hold the national security hostage over an abortion issue." Now, the former commander of Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama, retired General Jim Rogers, highlighted that Senator Tuberville is right now depriving that base of a confirmed commanding officer, saying, "I am very concerned our senator is getting led down a path that he does not understand the full impact for the military, and I just recommend that he reconsider that." And the sister of a man currently serving in uniform, who withheld her name out of concern for her brother's career, told CNN, and I quote, "He is very proud of his career in the military, but he was telling me that he's still in limbo. Nobody wants that stress and that pressure of not knowing if you're going, where you're going within the next couple of months." Across the nation, across the political spectrum, Americans are deeply concerned at the damage Senator Tuberville's holds can have on our armed services and our military spouses and the children of service members with this disrespect to our national security and our military. As the president said in Helsinki last week, Republicans in Congress should step up and speak out. As you all know, today the Department of Education is holding a hearing to get public input on the new debt relief that President Biden announced a few weeks ago, right after the SCOTUS decision. As you all know, the hearing is a key step forward in our work to get relief out to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. The Department of Education also released state-by-state data showcasing who stands to benefit from the over $39 billion in debt relief we announced last week for over 800,000 borrowers. These are borrowers who had been making payments for decades, but were never given the relief they were promised. So that's what we saw with our announcement last week. These borrowers are owed this relief, yet Republican elected officials, including those who had no problem with the government forgiving billions of dollars in business loans, are still objecting to, including their own constituents. A couple of examples here. Representative Lisa McClain of Michigan said, "Come hell or high water, I will fight this." Now, there are more than 26,000 borrowers from Michigan are eligible for this relief. Representative Virginia Fox of North Carolina said, "We're hurting borrowers, but more than 24,000 borrowers from North Carolina stand to benefit from this relief." So congressional Republicans have made it clear they will stop at nothing to block relief for middle-class borrowers, including their own constituents. But President Biden isn't backing down either. No president has fought harder for student debt relief, and guess what? He is not done yet. Also today, Russia attacked Ukrainian ports in Odessa, Mykolaiv, just one day after Russia suspended its participation in the Black Sea Grain Initiative. By attacking Ukrainian ports and effectively establishing a naval blockade to prevent Ukrainian grain and foodstuffs from going to global markets, Russia is exacerbating food scarcity in some of the most food insecure regions of the globe, like the Horn of Africa and the Sahel and Yemen. As UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, Russia's action will strike a blow to people who need it the most. The United States will continue to support Ukraine's effort to get Ukrainian grain to the people that desperately need it. And finally, I'm excited to share with all of you the latest action under President Biden's leadership to protect American consumers. Today, in partnership with the FCC, we're launching a cybersecurity certification and labeling program, U.S. Cyber Trust Mark, to help Americans more easily choose smart devices that are safer and less vulnerable to cyber attacks. We've all heard concerns about
That sounds like control.
this new program will help give Americans greater peace of mind that the devices they're bringing into their homes, classrooms, or workplaces are safer and more secure. Already, 19 leading manufacturers and retailers, including Amazon, Best Buy, Google, Samsung, Logitech, and more, have announced their support for the program. In 2024, the program will be up and running, and soon after, Americans will be able to look for the Cyber Trust Mark's distinct shield. Just like the logo on the screens behind me, across common household devices such as baby monitors, home security cameras, fitness trackers, and smart TVs, and refrigerators of all price ranges. The logo will indicate to Americans shopping online or in stores that device they're buying meets the U.S. government's cybersecurity requirements and is less vulnerable to cyber attacks. This is another key step by the Biden administration to ease the concerns of hardworking families, from cracking down on hidden junk fees to strengthening cyber protections and protecting the privacy of people in their own homes. With that, oh, you are not Zeke, you are Josh.
I am.
Hi. Hi, Josh.
If it makes it easier, you can just call me Zeke. That's fine.
No, I'm going to call you by your given name. Go ahead, Josh.
Three subjects. First, the U.S. soldier who crossed the border into North Korea. AP is reporting that he had been held in a South Korea prison and was supposed to fly to Fort Bliss, Texas to face disciplinary actions. How did he escape the airport, and is he a security risk?
So a couple of things, and I know that the Department of Defense, the Secretary more specifically, spoke to this moments ago, so I'll have a couple of things to share, and this is something that the Pentagon obviously has already shared. In the afternoon of July 18th, local time, a U.S. soldier on a private JSA orientation tour crossed willfully and without authorization the military demarcation line into the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And we believe the soldier is currently in DPRK custody and are working with our North Korean counterparts to resolve this incident. DoD is in the process of notifying next of kin. Until that is complete, they will not release identification of the soldier. The White House, the Department of Defense, the State Department, and also the UN are all working together to ascertain more information and resolve the situation. I don't have more to share beyond that. We are looking into this, trying to get more information. As I mentioned, the DoD has been in touch with their counterparts, as well as others who are certainly working on this together. Been in touch with the Korean People's Army, as the Department of Defense has done. Just don't have more to share beyond that.
Secondly, the Houston Chronicle is reporting that Texas troopers were told to push migrant children into the Rio Grande River. What steps is the administration taking to verify this report and address the findings?
So we saw those reports clearly. If they are true, it is.
She just blinked like 30 times in a row.
It is dangerous, and we're talking about the bedrock values of who we are as a country, and the indecency, the human indecency that we're seeing, potentially, if this is true, is just wrong. It is just completely wrong. But I would say, sadly, it would not be surprising from a governor who, let's not forget, on Christmas Eve, put migrant children on the streets in below 0-degree temperature. That's what we saw from this governor. But again, we don't know if this is true, if the reporting is true, but it is truly troubling to hear this type of reporting.
And then lastly, former President Trump received a letter from the special counsel that he's being investigated for his role in efforts to overturn the 2020 election. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the Biden administration has decided to, quote, weaponize government to go after their number one opponent, end quote.
I'll say,
weaponize government.
Here's what we have done. The president respects the Department of Justice, their independence. He has been very steadfast on making sure that the rule of law comes back in this administration, comes back in the White House, and clearly the administration more broadly, and that's what you have seen. I'm just not going to comment on this particular case. Ken, Mary.
On the service member who crossed into North Korea, I know you're still gathering information. This is unfolding, but I guess big picture, what lengths is this administration willing to go to? How much diplomatic capital are you willing to spend to get this service member back, given that he willfully crossed?
So look, we're looking into this. We're looking into, clearly there's an investigation in this incident, and this is something that the Secretary said himself, which is our primary concern at this time is ascertaining clearly the well-being of this individual, and so that's going to be certainly our primary focus here. As I mentioned, the Department of Defense has certainly has reached out to their counterpart at DPRK. I'm just not going to go beyond that at this time.
At this point, though, do you know if North Korea is asking for anything in return?
I don't have anything to share. This is, and this is something that the Secretary said as well. This is a very early stages of this issue, of this incident, and so we're trying to gather as much information as possible.
Thanks. On this soldier who crossed into North Korea, do you know what the misconduct was that he was being disciplined for?
I don't have any information beyond what you already know.
And do you know exactly where within the joint security area this occurred? Was it within one of those buildings at the joint security area? Was it outside?
All very good questions. As I said, this is the beginning, very early stages of this investigation. We're going to look into it. I just don't have anything to share beyond that.
On January 6th, I understand that you guys aren't going to comment specifically on this case, but the president has held former President Trump responsible for the events of January 6th previously in his rhetoric in a number of ways. So I'm wondering, how does he feel about the fact that the former president may now be held accountable for the events of that day?
So look, this is an ongoing case. I'm just not going to respond to any hypotheticals that's currently, out there in the world. I'm just not going to be very, very mindful and give the Department of Justice their space.
She doesn't know anything today.
investigation, just not going to comment.
Not even propaganda.
My colleague Priscilla reported that the U.S. has been holding migrants at CBP detention facilities for more than 10 days. This is as a result of some of the administration's policy changes, even though it's U.S. government policy to not hold those individuals for longer than 72 hours. So what is the administration doing to rectify this, and to what extent do you believe the president's policies are responsible for this?
So I have to look into that reporting. It's the first time I'm hearing about this. As you know, we have our policies as it relates to holding migrants. I just have not seen that reporting, and I would have to get back so I can actually give you the correct information. Okay.
Thank you, Karine. NSC's Kurt Campbell is in Seoul attending a U.S.-South Korea meeting. Currently, is he getting involved in any capacity in getting the American soldier out?
I don't have anything to share about specific individuals' involvement. What I can say is the White House, the Department of Defense, the State Department, and certainly the UN are all involved and as I mentioned, DOD has reached out to their counterpart. I just don't have anything on anyone specifically being involved.
Can you share anything on whether there has been a request to the North Koreans for the return of this soldier?
All I can say is that we've done outreach to the respective counterparts, in particular the Department of Defense. Just don't have anything else to share. As I mentioned, even the Secretary of Defense said we are in the early stages of this, and so we're looking into this incident and obviously want to get it resolved.
Quick one on Israel. Will President Biden be asking President Herzog to sort of take any kind of message back to Prime Minister Netanyahu about the need for him to back off the Knesset vote, or get back into talks with the opposition to reach a compromise or potentially some kind of consensus on the issue of judicial overhaul?
So I think in our readout, that is certainly something that the President spoke to the Prime Minister himself yesterday. So that is a topic.
Towards the end of the readout, so.
But it's in the readout, correct? It's in the readout. Okay. So a couple things I do want to say, and just pretty much reiterating what the President just said moments ago during the pool spray, which is his love for Israel is deep-rooted and long-standing since his early days of government. So that's important. And one of the reasons this conversation is so important is this: Israel is clearly celebrating their 70th anniversary of Israel's independence, and this was an opportunity to lift up, continue that partnership at a higher level, certainly. And they're going to be talking about the advancing a more integrated, peaceful, and prosperous Middle East, which is something that the President has certainly led on and talked about over the past this past year. And a couple of things: preserving the path of negotiating two-state solution is going to be on the table for discussion. The administration's new plan to counter anti-Semitism, as you all know, this past May, we announced a very comprehensive, once-of-a-kind anti-Semitism plan, which we think is incredibly important at this moment. The importance of upholding democratic principles, including the checks and balances as we talk about judicial reform, and the changes have the broadest possible. If there are changes, that needs to have the broadest possible consensus within our system. So certainly the President's going to talk about how the President of Israel himself has been involved in brokering a compromise as it relates to judicial reform. So those are the conversations that's going to be on the table. But the President has had that conversation directly with the Prime Minister as recently as yesterday.
And can you confirm a venue for the meeting? Israelis are saying it's going to be at the White House with Prime Minister Netanyahu, but the White House hasn't confirmed the venue.
What I can say is both the Prime Minister and the President talked about certainly continuing to be in touch, and so they're both of their sides, right? Are both governments are going. The staff on both governments are going to have those conversations. I just don't have anything to preview for you at this time.
Why the hesitation in confirming?
There's no hesitation. I mean, we have confirmed yesterday that they said that we're going to see each other later this year. We just haven't worked that out, and sometimes this takes a little bit of time on where that's going to be and how that's going to look. Okay, Kelly.
It does appear that there's a hesitation to confer a White House meeting on Netanyahu based on just a lack of willingness to be explicit about that. I mean, I would imagine the Prime Minister will also be at the United Nations General Assembly, and that would be another potential venue that would fall into what you were describing yesterday. Is there any reason why the White House wouldn't make it explicit that a White House invitation has been extended?
I mean, you just laid out there's potential other opportunities for the two leaders to meet with each other. As I've stated, that the details are going to be worked out by the different teams on what that's going to look like and where that's going to be. But they have committed to meeting and seeing each other in the United States later this year. I just don't have a specific on location. It's going to be worked out, and as soon as we know, we'll certainly share it with all of
Can you
you.
walk us through how the president was notified about the North Korean incident, and if that generated any kind of a separate meeting for him, or was it part of the PDB? Something like this is certainly unusual, so if there's any detail you could give us about how that came about.
That's a very good question. I can tell you for sure that clearly the president has been briefed, obviously. This is a type of incident that he would be briefed on, as you all know. I don't have the specifics if it was part of his PDB or a separate briefing, but certainly this is something that the president is watching very closely and will be kept updated.
Should we anticipate a call to South Korea or other partners in the region as a result of this?
So one thing I can say is that I don't have any calls to read out to anybody that the president's going to be calling specifically in either North Korea or South Korea. I can say that as it relates to our partners, we have been engaging certainly with Sweden and South Korea, but I don't have any calls to lay out specifically for the president.
Karine, thank you. On the matter of the U.S. soldier, you said that the U.S. is working to resolve this matter. Can you just clarify what a resolution is?
Well, I mean, resolve this incident, resolve this matter to get to the bottom of exactly what happened. There is an investigation that's currently occurring. There has been outreach from the Department of Defense, right, as I mentioned, to their counterparts over at the Korean People's Army. You have the State Department, you have the Department of Defense, you have the UN and the White House all working together to resolve this. Resolving this is basically getting to the bottom of exactly what happened, and that is important for us to know. I just don't have more to share, and once we do, we'll certainly share the information.
Bringing him home, because
well, we have also said, look, he's an American citizen. That is important to note, right? As we know, as a soldier, we have also said our primary concern at this time is ascertaining his well-being and getting to the bottom of exactly what happened and what occurred. I'm just going to say what Secretary Austin said moments ago. He's absolutely concerned about the welfare of his troops, right? That is something that, as the Secretary of Defense,
Sure.
and this will develop in the next several days and hours, and certainly we'll keep you posted, and that is coming directly from the Secretary of Defense.
Are you working under the assumption that this soldier wants to come back to the U.S., or do you know that for certain?
I'm not working under any hypotheticals or any assumptions. What we're doing is trying to, there's going to be an investigation into this incident. I certainly don't want to get into hypotheticals, speculations of what occurred or how we ended up here. We just want to make sure that we get to the bottom of this.
And then quickly on another topic, we were informed shortly before going into the Oval Office that several members of the Israeli delegation tested positive for COVID. Can you tell us whether President Herzog was tested before his meeting, given the close proximity to President Biden?
So as you know, we have testing protocols anytime somebody meets with the president. So I can tell you that anybody who meets with the president does indeed get tested. I do. We all do. Any specifics, additional questions about what occurred amongst the Israeli delegation, I would certainly refer you to them.
Thank you.
We're not in danger though, right?
Thanks, Karine. Despite the Supreme Court ruling, Alabama state lawmakers proposed a congressional map that would, a secondary map that would have a district that would be 42% black, not quite a majority as the plaintiffs in the case have said. They say this is a violation of the Supreme Court ruling. Does the White House take that position that this proposed map does not fulfill the ruling of the Supreme Court to have that second district majority black?
So that is something that I would have to refer you to the Department of Justice. I'm just not going to speak to that from here. I have not seen the secondary map of what it is that is being done in Alabama, but I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
And on voting rights, Senator Warnock and Senate Democrats today are reintroducing the Freedom to Vote Act, something that the president has called for Congress to pass repeatedly. Though we know the political reality in the House for that bill, what is the White House's message to Americans more broadly about voting rights and with the reintroduction of the Freedom to Vote Act?
So look, this, as you just stated, this is something that the president sees as a priority, making sure that Americans have the right to vote. have those freedoms intact. And so that is something, a message that the president will always continue to share. He's going to continue to call on Congress to act. It sounds like they're moving forward in the right direction, and we think that's incredibly important. It is our constitutional right to be able to vote freely, to be able to make sure our voices are heard, but just not going to go beyond that. Go ahead, Jacqui.
Did the president address at all Congresswoman Jayapal's comments in his meeting with Herzog?
Say that one more time.
Did the president have to address Congresswoman Jayapal's comment that Israel is a racist state?
What do you mean had to address?
Did it come up at all in the conversation with President Herzog?
I mean, they're currently having a conversation right now in the bilat.
To address it, did it come up in his call with Netanyahu yesterday?
I mean, the president has been very clear, right? And I kind of stated.
God forbid you let her ask the question.
Israel's relationship is a special one. There's a special bond, there's a commitment, and it is a commitment to Israel's right to exist, Israel's security, and its legitimacy. I mean, that's one of the reasons that the president spoke to Prime Minister yesterday and is having this important meeting with the Israeli president. They're going to have a conversation on how we continue to grow that special relationship. As I just laid out, 75 years of Israel's independence is being celebrated this year, and we think it's important to continue that relationship.
The reason I ask is because yesterday Kirby had said that you guys were glad that she apologized, but what we didn't hear was any condemnation of her comment from the White House. Does the White House condemn that comment?
I mean, look, the apology was the right thing to do, and we've been very clear when it comes to anti-Semitism. This administration and the entire Biden-Harris administration have been clear that when Israel is singled out because of anti-Jewish hate, that's anti-Semitism, and that is unacceptable. One of the reasons, and I just said this moments ago, back in May, the president put forward a comprehensive plan on how to counter anti-Semitism. It is something that is its first of a kind strategy that we've not seen before, and it is comprehensive and is ambitious. So you already have seen the commitment from this president on how to deal with an issue that we feel is incredibly unacceptable. So we've been clear on our record. We've been clear on speaking against anti-Semitism throughout this administration when we see it.
So the White House does condemn that comment?
I mean, I just said if any time anti-Jewish hatred is said, that is anti-Semitism, and we find it to be unacceptable. But at the same time, we think it's important that the Congresswoman did indeed apologize for her comments, and we're glad to see it.
Didn't hear whether it was a yes or a no to that question, but in another vein, there's a vote happening in the House today, a resolution saying that Israel is not a racist state or an apartheid state. Does the White House want to see strong support for that resolution?
First of all, we condemn anti-Semitism. Anytime there is any anti-Jewish hate, we condemn it. We've been very clear. That is answering your question. As it relates to anything that's going on the House, I refer you to the House. But again, I cannot be more clearer. You have the president right now meeting with the president of Israel. A very important meeting that they're having. They're doing a bilat right now. And one of the things that the president's going to make very clear is the special bond and our commitment to Israel. And it is unwavering, it is unshakable, and the president finds that relationship again very deep. And it started when he first walked into government.
I hear you, and I'm sorry to push on it.
We just went back and forth.
Democrats don't want to take action against other Democrats when they have to apologize for something like this. There has been criticism.
We just said that we're glad that she apologized. Congresswoman Jayapal did indeed apologize. And we have been very clear. Anytime Israel is singled out with anti-Jewish hate, which is indeed anti-Semitism, it is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. You have an administration that...
Yeah, that's what the word means. Oh man, she's extra stupid today.
Not seen in this way from any other administration. That shows the president's commitment to this issue. I'm going to move on. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you, Karine. Two questions. Is the president satisfied with the pace at which Afghan allies are being processed to enter the U.S. There are a lot of folks who were left behind, who were in third countries, who served with the U.S. during the years we were there, and they're still waiting. Is he satisfied? And would he push the Senate to include the Afghan Adjustment Act in their version of the NDAA? And then I have a second question.
So I think what I can say is our commitment continues to stand, all right, to make sure that we take care of the folks who helped us during the longest war in this country that we have seen, that we have supported. And the work continues. The work is going to continue. Any specifics on data, any specifics on how fast it's moving and where we are currently, I would certainly refer you to the State Department.
And then on what the former president said on his social media site today, has President Biden asked for any sort of intelligence estimate or inquired as to preparations for potential violence in reaction to any further indictments of the former president?
Look, I could say this, we are always prepared. I don't have anything to share beyond that.
Thank you so much. On Taiwan, the Vice President of Taiwan is coming through the States soon. He is currently the front runner in Taiwan's presidential election. Just wondering if any American high-level officials plan to meet with him and what messages they plan to convey to this leader as he comes to the States.
So a couple of things. So we expect the Vice President, Lei, will transit the United States.
She'll lay all right.
Turn legs of his trip to Paraguay in August. That's what we're expecting. This is a routine given the distances involved.
I'm going to put liquor in my coffee. I'll be back.
As you know, we've talked about this many times. From here, unofficial transits by Taiwan vice presidents are common. They have been about 10 vice presidential transit in the last 20 years. All have occurred without incident. This would be the 11th transit, and it would be Vice President Lei's second. He previously transited in 2021. I don't have anything else to share. Again, this is consistent and long-standing practices. It is the unofficial nature of our relations.
Cheers, hooligans.
One China policy, which remains unchanged. Don't have anything else to share. I would refer you certainly to the Taiwanese government on any meetings that they may be having.
Just clarifying on the engagement between Washington and North Korea on this soldier. Is this military to military communication between?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Department of Defense. Yes.
Is the U.S. engaged in any direct communication with Pyongyang or any political leaders in that country?
So I don't have anything outside of what the Department of Defense have shared and what we have shared. As I mentioned, the Department of Defense is certainly in touch with their counterparts. Okay, Karen.
Thanks, Karine. Much of the country and parts of Europe especially are experiencing extreme heat or severe weather right now. Will the president use this moment to focus on climate change with an event or remarks? And is there something that the federal government is doing with some of these states, Arizona, Texas, to help people as they're experiencing this heat wave right now?
So a couple of things, Karen. Look, we saw the multiple reporting of extreme weather over the past couple of days, especially this weekend. We're talking about flooding. We're talking about wildfire smoke, extreme heat. So we know climate change has an effect. And as you know, this president has done more than any other president to deal with climate change, to deal with the crisis that we're currently seeing. A couple of things that we are doing to help communities deal with these different extremes and extreme weather is FEMA's opening cooling center.
Even the weather's extreme.
To be more resilient to extreme heat.
Is that MAGA weather?
Discuss preparedness measures, and we're doing everything that we can to tackle the root causes of climate change. This is why the Inflation Reduction Act is so important. It is a historic legislation that is going to do the most than any other piece of legislation to tackle with this crisis that we're seeing currently.
Where is FEMA doing the cooling centers, and is the extreme weather right now and this heat, is this part of the president's briefings that he's getting right now?
Well,
that's the compliance cloth section.
Up to date on the extreme weather situation that we have seen over the past couple of weeks. So that's going to continue. As far as where the cooling centers is, we can certainly get that for all of you to share.
Thanks, Karine. So I'm curious, in Congress tomorrow, so will the president be monitoring it all or get updates on the House Oversight Committee where the second IRS whistleblower is going to be testifying?
So the president has a busy day tomorrow. As you all know, he's convening the Competition Council to announce new actions to increase competition in the American economy, to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to lower costs for consumers, and also to help entrepreneurs and small businesses thrive. And that's what the president's going to be focused on tomorrow. These are pillars, as you can imagine, of Bidenomics, is something that we've been talking about certainly the last couple of weeks. So he's going to have a busy day. That's going to be the focus. It's going to be focused on the American people.
Is the president concerned about the impartiality of the IRS in terms of their work and their investigations that they do then?
I'm just not going to speak to the hearing that's happening tomorrow. No comment from here. Go ahead, Michael.
Thanks, back on the Houston Chronicle article on the border, what, if anything, is the administration doing to verify those reports?
The reports on
the border, yeah,
the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which part? Can you say more?
You don't have to be so cryptic.
The pushing them, the pushing them in the river.
Okay. So this is about Abbott you're talking about. I just want to make sure because there's a lot of things happening at the border. Okay. So look, I think what we have done, the president has demonstrated leadership on how to deal with, how to put forward a plan that's humane, right? That's humane and actually is also effective. And you saw that in the past couple of months. What we're seeing right now, if you're denying migrants water, that's not enforcement. That is abusive. That is atrocious. And so we don't know if these reports are true. Clearly, we're hearing them just like you are.
It's obviously not true. They just put a floating border in the water to prevent people from crossing because they were dying. I'm sure they're not shoving kids into the river.
The president on his first day said that he would put forth a comprehensive immigration plan, and that's what we want to work on. The president has done everything that he can with the tools that he has to put forward a humane process, and we see that process is working. But when you do this in an inhumane way, we're gonna call that out, and it is abhorrent if this is indeed true.
This is just propaganda.
Johnson & Johnson has filed suit against the administration over the Medicare provision in the Inflation Reduction Act. Do you have a response? And is there any concern from the White House that provision, now facing multiple lawsuits, may be struck down?
So look, what we're going to continue to do is make sure that the president does everything he can to lower costs for the American people. And that's what we saw in the Inflation Reduction Act. The president is proud of that. The president has always said he's going to do everything that he can to give Americans a little bit breathing room. And look, what we're seeing now, that Medicare is allowed to be able to have those conversations to lower costs. That's important. That's important. We want to work with pharmaceuticals on how we move forward on continuing to lower costs.
Is that why there's drugs in the White House?
The president has promised when it comes to health care, when it comes to drug costs, and that's when, again, Inflation Reduction Act is so critical and so important. I'm not going to get to the legalese of this. I'll let the Department of Justice deal with it.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about Julie Su. What precedent does it set to have a cabinet official doing the job have an acting official doing the job of a cabinet secretary when she can't get confirmed or have the votes to do it? I know that you all know that there aren't votes at this point to confirm her, yet she's still doing the job in an acting capacity, and it seems like it will be for a while.
Well, I can't speak to the timeline. What I can speak to is we are committed. The president is committed to get her through. He nominated her because he believed that she was eminently qualified to do the job, and she has done it in a brilliant way. Let's not forget the major labor agreements that she was able to do with the West Coast ports. That's something she did as acting, and let's not forget what that would have done. That would have hurt our supply chain. And so she's been able to do that. And so she has strong support from businesses. She has strong support from labor. This should not be held up. She was unanimously, as you all know, confirmed as Deputy Secretary by all Senate Democrats. And so we're going to continue to push forward. I can't speak to the precedents of this or unprecedents of this. What I can speak to is our commitment to getting Julie Su through, and that's something that the President has said. His commitment to her is unwavering, and she is more than qualified to be the Secretary of the Department of Labor.
Is the president okay having someone in a job that can't get confirmed by the Senate? Basically going around the Senate and putting the person you want in anyways.
So look, I do want to say this, as you asked me about your first question, there is no time limit for federal vacancies. Reform Act that she is serving under, that is the act that we're able to do this to make her acting secretary. We think, again, that she is more than qualified. That is the reason why the president appointed her. And we want to see her get through swiftly. We want her to see her get confirmed swiftly. And that's what we're going to continue to call for.
Thank you.
Yes, Senator Rand Paul is holding up about 6 diplomatic nominations right now. He's saying it's because the Biden administration is not providing documents related to the origins of COVID. What is your message to Paul, and do you plan to provide those documents?
So a couple of things, because there are some stats here that are important as what we're seeing here. The State Department currently has 62 state nominees outstanding with the Senate, including 38 ambassadorial nominees on the Senate floor, awaiting confirmation for posts in Asia, Latin America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, where U.S. leadership is desperately needed. This is what's happening. And of the 38 nominees awaiting a floor vote, all but 3 of the individuals are career foreign service. The nominees are highly qualified. They are foreign service officers who have served under multiple administrations and received bipartisan support. So there's no reason why we should not be moving with them. Holds on State Department nominees are leaving critical posts unfilled. This summer, for the first time ever, you have Egypt, you have Jordan, you have Lebanon. We'll have no confirmed U.S. ambassadors, and we remain without ambassadors in other countries as well, like African Union, UAE, Rwanda, Somalia, and Haiti. So unfortunately, these nominees are under a blanket hold, as you just stated, from Senator Paul. The Department of State has cooperated extensively with the senator. They have provided documents and other information, but he continues to block all state nominees for no reason, because they have worked with the senator, they have provided documents, and he continues to block them.
Topic. Congressional Republicans have been asking for more information about why Rob Malley was put on a leave of absence and had his security clearance revoked, I think, about a month ago. Do you have any information on that, please?
I would refer you to the State Department. They would have more information on that. Go ahead, Alex.
There are, I think, 4 members of the House who are going to boycott President Herzog's address tomorrow, and one of them, Representative Cori Bush, said that the Israeli government is enforcing an apartheid state and that it shows no respect for human rights. So by your definition, is what Representative Bush said anti-Semitic?
Look, what I can say is that the president has a long-standing relationship with Israel. He is committed to their security, committed to continuing that relationship, hence why he is meeting with the president of Israel. And so that is what's important. I cannot speak to other congressional members in the House. That is for them to speak to why they choose to boycott or to do whatever it is that they're doing today. But what we can speak to is our commitment, our longstanding commitment to Israel, our longstanding support to Israel, and that is something that the president will continue to be committed to. Okay.
The congressional picnic is tomorrow, and I'm just wondering, are all members invited, including those that may have some different perspectives from the White House on investigations in particular?
So I'm not going to speak to, just be careful here, not speak to investigations. Look, we have consistently invited not just Democrats, but Republicans to the White House. You all know this. You have seen them walking around or them invited to events here. That is not unusual. So that is something that we will continue to do. I just don't have anything else to share beyond that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Karine. Media reported today that Turkey and Saudi Arabia are holding secret talks to return Ukrainian children taken by Russia. Are you aware of these talks?
All I heard is Turkey and... Okay.
Are holding secret talks to return Ukrainian children taken by Russia. Are you aware or in contact with these two countries?
I don't have anything to share on that particular question.
One more question. South Africa asked the International Criminal Court to not arrest President Putin, who is supposed to visit the country next month. What do you make of that?
Can you say the beginning of the question?
South Africa asked the International Criminal Court not to arrest President Putin, who is visiting the country.
Not to arrest him?
Yes,
okay.
Because they are a signatory to the International Criminal Court. What do you make of that?
Well, we've all seen with our own eyes in your reporting what Putin has done to Ukraine, the devastation that he has caused. And this is an aggression of his own doing into a country's own freedom and democracy. And what we've seen from the Ukrainian people, and you've heard us speak to this, is how bravely they are fighting for that democracy, for their freedom. And we have seen Putin commit war crimes. We have seen him do that. And that's what he continues to do. And let's be very clear, this war can end at any time. It can end at any time if Mr. Putin decides to. And what we are committed to, what we will say and speak to over and over again, as you heard from the president during his press conference in Helsinki, is our commitment to the Ukrainian people as long as it takes to help them continue to fight bravely for their democracy and for their freedom. And that's our commitment. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Prostitute.
KJP's trash. All day. All day. Said a whole bunch of nothing, a bunch of propaganda. I can't believe what they were saying about Abbott. They just spent all that money and how many ever days? Oh, I'm going to have to shut the... Hold on a second. I got to shut this. Just give me a moment. My apologies. People are outside doing crazy stuff. It's way too loud. They're talking about Greg Abbott when they just put floating devices, some sort of floating border across the whatever it's called. I don't know if it's a river or whatever it is, because there were so many people kicking the bucket. They would try and cross to come to the border and they'd end up getting pulled down by the current and they'd kick the bucket. They'd drown. So they put a floating border there to deter people from doing that. And then they turn around and say that he's shoving people into the water. What? How? How can you even make that up? It's because they're trying to pull the racist horses again. Where they had those images of horses or Border Patrol on horseback. And they were holding onto the reins, trying to stay on top of those man-eating horses. And they took a screenshot. And they were like, oh, they were whipping migrants, blah, 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 blah. And they were pushing that, and dumb people believe it. The stupid soft people believe that stuff. And now they're saying that they're shoving kids into the Rio Grande. Basically saying they're killing them. Might as well be like, oh, they're pushing them into the wood chipper. That's how they're making it sound. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Thanks for the propaganda. That was like all she said. She didn't say anything else that made any kind of sense. And they can't even say the Orange Eagle's name. They're scared to talk about Trump. They know if you say his name 3 times, you turn around, you'll hear an eagle squawk. You'll see fireworks and bars and stars in the background. They know. So they can't call him by his name. They treat him like he's Voldemort. Makes no sense. Well, what do we have left on the list here? We got one more. It's titled Gavin Newsom accused of hypocrisy on migrant dumping. We'll just keep the theme going. The whole migrant situation. I call them border crossers, but 'tis what 'tis. I can't believe they think that this guy's going to lead the blue team. I don't see that. Look at California. I don't know how anyone could look at California and be like, yeah, let's have that guy run the whole country. I feel the same way about Michigan. Like, don't put Whitmer up on the board. She'll be taking everyone's free speech away. So before we get started, I want to say thank you so much, Viking Vet, for continuing the membership program for 12 months. You're officially a hooligan. And I appreciate you, Viking Vet. And thank you so much, Viking Vet, for gifting out 20 memberships over on YouTube. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. And thank you so much, Snooks, for gifting out 10 memberships over on YouTube. I really appreciate everything you do, Snooks. Thank you. All right, hooligans, we're going to get this started.
California Governor Gavin Newsom being accused of hypocrisy again. This after he threatened to sue Governors DeSantis and Abbott for sending migrants to his state when the LA Times reported back in 2008 that the then San Francisco Mayor Newsom dumped migrants in other California counties.
Interesting development here. The original article says San Bernardino County officials vowed Thursday not to become a dumping ground for San Francisco criminals, saying they may sue that city for exporting juvenile offenders to local group homes. Officials in San Francisco acknowledged sending the recent group of Honduran and said others had been transported down in the past. Outkick host Tommy Lahren joins us now. Okay, so what's going on here is that, you have Governor Gavin Newsom. He has suggested criminal charges and an investigation and accused Governor DeSantis of kidnapping migrants and sending them to other areas. But it turns out in 2008, he was doing the same thing. But in his case, he was caught transporting child migrants convicted of crimes out of San Francisco to San Bernardino. So how do you explain that?
Governor Gavin Newsom is a hypocrite. I mean, knock me over with a feather, Carly. I could have never imagined in all my years living in California that Gavin Newsom would be a hypocrite. Yeah, this is really par for the course here. But not only was he dumping these individuals, he was dumping them in the Inland Empire. Anybody that's familiar with California knows that that is the place in California where you dump people to, get away with it because they don't want them in LA and they don't want them in San Francisco or Santa Barbara, so you dump them in San Bernardino and Riverside County and dump them on those poor people that are already struggling there to just have to deal with it. So he's going to have to run from a lot of these stories and a lot of these scandals and a lot of these things that are going to bubble up to the surface should he decide, which you guys know I believe he is going to, run for president in 2024. So I think that this makes people like Governor Abbott and certainly Governor DeSantis very excited to see, because it's just another comparison between Gavin Newsom's California and every other great red state that people from California are fleeing to en masse for good reason.
You're so right. I worked in Desert Hot Springs there for 4 years, my first TV job, and you literally had people dumped, like you said, from LA, from San Francisco. It ruined an entire city. Meantime, a liberal podcaster had this reaction to her co-host prediction about Donald J. Trump.
I think President Trump is not going to run for president under the auspices of a plea deal. I think the DOJ or whoever it is going to realize America's nightmare needs to end. This is just bad for America. It's bad for us on the international stage. It weakens our power overseas.
Where is that coming from? No one says that stuff.
Tommy, what do you make of that theory?
So I think these podcasters are onto something, but not about former President Trump. Current President Joe Biden, everything they just said there, that, he won't run because he'll exchange for a plea deal. I'm thinking to myself, that sounds like something more probable for someone like a Joe Biden, who's also got scandals piling up here. But as for Donald J. Trump, I don't think there is any way that he doesn't run for president. He is ready to go. He is fired up. He's not going to back down from a fight. I mean, we've watched Donald Trump for how many years now? If you think Donald Trump is going to go away quietly, you don't know Donald Trump. But maybe this is a good pathway for a President Joe Biden to get out of the race. So I don't think that it's a crazy prediction. They just got the wrong guy.
We shall see. 475 days to go.
You counted.
Until the presidential election. Tommy, thanks for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian. 475 days to go. That's too long. That's too long. I don't know, hooligans. They're crazy. I don't think Orange Eagle's going to drop out of the race willingly. I don't think so. I worry about the build-up, though. They keep indicting him and accusing him of crap, and he keeps going to court, and things keep getting thrown out of court, and all this stuff. Are they going to just be okay when he just triumphs over all of this? when he gets past all the court cases and he's still running and he's still getting all the support, are they going to stop there? Or are they going to do something real bad and make sure he can't run? Something permanent. I hope not. I hope not. But that's what it feels like. It feels like they're willing to go at any length to make sure he's not running things again. And I worry about that. And I hate that we can't talk about what it is. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm laying down. But I really hope they don't do that. They better not. They've never seen pissed off Americans like they would see if they did something bad to Trump. I don't know. I think the hope for Trump 24 is what's keeping most people respecting the law and stuff like that. You can't take hope away from Americans. You'll see fire like you've never seen before. They thought the BLM riots were bad. Come on, man. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. Once we're going to cleanse the palate, try and get that KJP out of the noggin there. We're going to be... Oh, first my mouse is going to die. All right. We're going to do the spiel deal, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to wrap things up. We will be gaming later, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, over on the gaming channel, where I meant to be gaming yesterday instead of everywhere. I can't believe how bad that hurt me, though. I didn't mean to do that yesterday. They made 50-plus people leave. It sucks. Either way. If you want to hang out with us while we're gaming later, you can find it on the link tree. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find JeffMAC Gaming. You come subscribe and hang out with us while we have fun. Just something to do while we're not covering the news. There's more to life than the news. Let's see here and this. You guys see what I did with that poll? I can't believe people actually chose Biden off the poll for who they're backing. I knew there was feds in the chat. That's how I got him. Yeah, put old man Walter up as an option. The feds will choose him every time. When you guys get a second, please go over to the link tree. I just dropped a link in all of the chats. All of my links are listed on the link tree, so I want you to scroll down and go find Gilded. You could join Gilded for free. It is currently the best way to receive notifications for when and where we go live. Every time we go live, there's a news board on Gilded to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. And there's a ton of hooligans in there, chat around the clock for you to hang out with. So definitely go join Gilded. Also on the link tree, you can find links for the merch store if you'd like to grab some merch. We have shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs, and other items. Everything is displayed in black and white or white and black, but if you find something you like, just click on that item and you can see all the different colors that item comes in. You can also find links for PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Stripe, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, and Locals if you would like to help support what I do. There's also a link to the Amazon wish list if you would like to send me stuff. It's really easy to use. Anything you purchase directly from the wish list will be sent straight to me. You don't have to send emails, find addresses, or keep track of tracking numbers. You don't have to do any of that. It is really simple to use. And then finally, we have links for the membership programs. We have memberships on YouTube, Gilded, Discord, Odyssey, Rumble, and Twitch if you would prefer to support that way on your favorite platform you like to hang out on. Then also at the very top of the link tree there, you can claim a free week membership, no strings attached, just a free week to come check out the cool stuff we're doing over on the website. With a membership, you'll have access to your own profile for our private social media area. You'll have access to our group chat rooms and group pages. You'll have access to our live streaming area with the built-in chat. And you'll have access to our advanced messaging system with the ability to text, call, video call, group text, group call, group video call, and the ability to upload all versions of digital media, so MP3s, MP4s, slideshows, digital documents, anything like that. You can share it with other hooligans, promote your business, or just post cool stuff on your timeline. You're welcome to do that. JeffMacLive.com is the home of the hooligans, so go join up right now. All right. It is that time again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We did the thing. I'm going to read through chat really quick, make sure everyone is good to go. And then we're going to wrap this up, like I said, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be playing the game over on JeffMAC Gaming. For everybody that's only here for the news, I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time for another Coffee with Hooligans and whatever happens between now and then. I don't know if we'll have another press briefing or not. I can't really remember what she said when she walked out. I can't remember if she said I'll see you guys tomorrow or not. That's usually the key. Let's read through the chat really quick. Elisa, you need to sell those goats as merch. That's an idea. I will see what I can do about that. I was thinking we need to give the goat a name. He needs to be more than the screaming goat. CB, I left willingly. What does that mean? Let's see. Yeah, Viking Vet. I don't know. I think we're going to end up with the Orange Eagle. I think that's how it's going to go. I think it's easier to let him through than to push him off, because every 4 years he'll keep coming back. So I don't know. We'll see. Only the future will tell. Hey, I appreciate you being here, Angel Heart. The coffee is spicy. Got some Crown Royal in it. I had to. I couldn't handle that KJP today. She was wrecking me. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you so much for all your support. You guys have been awesome today. We had an awesome turnout. Big shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I would not be able to do this without you. So thank you so much for all your support. I'll see you on the next live. And until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.